Bonjour mes amis, j'espère que vous allez bien. Dans la première partie de cette vidéo, vous allez entendre une conversation sur une annonce sous la section B du TEF Canada. Je vais convaincre mon ami à suivre un cours de guide touristique avec une agence. Mais sachez que je vais jouer le rôle de deux, moi et mon ami. Donc, pardonnez-moi si vous avez du mal à tout comprendre, mais je vais mettre la transcription dans la description si vous en avez besoin. Mais je vous suggère d'écouter la conversation une fois sans la transcription et ensuite vous pouvez la réécouter avec la transcription. Ensuite, la deuxième partie de la vidéo sera en anglais parce que je soulignerai certains éléments importants de la conversation qui pouvaient vous aider à obtenir un niveau plus élevé dans la section B. Donc, oui, c'est parti. Salut, comment vas-tu?
Je vais bien, merci. Et toi?
Je vais très bien. Donc, je t'appelle parce que je voulais te parler de quelque chose d'intéressant. Je viens de tomber sur une annonce et dès que je l'ai vue, j'ai pensé à toi. Il s'agit d'une agence qui propose une formation pour devenir guide touristique. Et la formation se déroulera pendant 5 jours à partir du 1er juillet. Et l'agence nous renseignera sur l'histoire de quelques types d'endroits en France. Donc, je sais que tu cherches un emploi en ce moment et tu aimes voyager. Donc, peut-être que tu peux devenir guide touristique. Qu'est-ce que tu en penses?
Oui, c'est vrai que j'aime voyager, mais je n'aime pas du tout devenir guide.
Je comprends que tu ne souhaites pas devenir guide touristique parce que tu ne l'as jamais essayé auparavant. Mais crois-moi, ça sera un emploi très intéressant pour toi car tu auras l'opportunité de visiter plusieurs sites touristiques sans avoir à dépenser de l'argent.
Oui, mais je ne connais rien sur les lieux touristiques. Il faut connaître que beaucoup d'informations historiques pour renseigner des personnes, des touristes, n'est-ce pas?
Oui, oui, c'est vrai. Et c'est exactement pourquoi je te propose de suivre des cours avec cette agence en particulier, parce que elle est bien connue comme la meilleure agence pour renseigner des guides sur l'histoire des lieux d'une manière intéressante. Donc, je pense que ce sera une très bonne expérience pour toi.
D'accord. Mais c'est un travail très fatigant. Je voudrais plutôt travailler dans dans une entreprise.
Je suis tout à fait d'accord avec toi que c'est un travail très fatigant. Au fait, je te conseille d'avoir un emploi à plein temps en parallèle et tu peux travailler dans une entreprise pendant la semaine, peut-être que, et le week-end ou quand tu as le temps, tu peux travailler en tant que guide pour gagner plus d'argent. Et je te propose de suivre ces cours parce que je sais que tu aimes voyager et je suis sûre que ce sera une et très bonne expérience pour toi.
D'accord. Je ne veux pas guider les grands groupes de voyageurs. Ça ne m'appelait pas du tout.
Oui, je comprends. Au fait, je me suis déjà renseignée sur ça et le responsable m'a dit que c'est possible de choisir de travailler uniquement avec des couples ou un petit groupe. Donc, c'est toi de décider si tu souhaites travailler avec des couples, avec un petit groupe ou un grand groupe.
D'accord. C'est, c'est juste. Mais je pense que la rémunération proposée n'est pas souvent intéressante.
C'est un vrai souci, mais je t'assure que c'est une des meilleures agences qui accompagne les guides pour trouver un emploi avec de bonnes entreprises qui proposent une rémunération compétitive. Donc, après avoir fini les cours, tu vas avoir beaucoup d'aide afin de trouver un emploi avec bonne entreprise.
D'accord. Mais as-tu sûr que cette formation soit bonne pour avoir un emploi?
Ne t'inquiète pas, mon ami a déjà fait cette formation et au début, il n'était pas sûr, mais cela s'est avéré être une expérience satisfaisante pour lui. En fait, avant de décider, je te suggérais de parcourir l'exit pour lire des témoignages de personnes qui ont déjà suivi cette formation.
D'accord. Et combien ça coûte?
Ça coûte 300 €.
C'est cher, n'est-ce pas?
Non, pas du tout. Comme je t'ai déjà dit, après avoir terminé le cours, il aide les guides à trouver un emploi avec une bonne entreprise. Donc, je pense que les frais sont justes. Et si tu veux, tu peux parler avec mon ami afin d'avoir plus d'informations sur les services.
D'accord, d'accord. Oui, je pense que je vais y réfléchir.
Parfait, je suis sûre que ça te plaira. Et dis-moi, qu'est-ce que tu décides?
D'accord. Et si je décide de m'inscrire, comment puis-je procéder?
Tu peux t'inscrire directement sur le site, mais dépêche-toi, les places sont limitées.
D'accord, d'accord. Merci.
Merci, bonne chance à toi, passe une très bonne journée, à très vite.
Au revoir.
I hope you have found the conversation interesting. If you have not understood some elements, please listen to it multiple times. I have created a very similar video for section A as well. I'm gonna pin it somewhere here so you can go and watch it in case you haven't already. Now, I want to highlight certain elements from this conversation which are really powerful and which could help you to get a higher score. But I'm also going to give you some additional elements apart from what I have used in this conversation, which you can use in any topic for section B, which can really help you to get a higher score. So let me get back to my laptop. The first one is variety of responses. So when we respond to our friend, we should try and use multiple ways of responding rather than just saying oui, je comprends or d'accord. So here are some examples from this conversation. First one, oui, je comprends. Oui, c'est vrai. Je suis tout à fait d'accord avec toi. C'est exactement pourquoi je te propose. C'est un vrai souci. Parfait. And apart from that, here are some additional examples which I have not really used in this conversation, but you can keep a note of it. Ne t'inquiète pas de tout, il va s'en occuper. So when your friend shows some concern about, I don't know how I would find a job after this, you can say, don't worry about it, they will take care of it. In that case, you can use this example. Next one is, c'est vrai, mais si tu y penses d'un autre point de vue. So when your friend shows some concern, you can say it's true, but if you think about it from another perspective, so try and show the advantages of that particular thing to your friend, and in that case, you can use this example to respond to their concern. Next one is no swapa parisu, no swapa parisius. So this is more applicable when your friend says, no, I don't want to participate in this activity which is going to happen on a weekend. I would rather spend time with my family or rest. Then you can just say that don't be lazy. And in that case, you can use this example. The next one is se tuta fe normal tu sonti ke. And your friend, when your friend is not sure about some activity and says that I'm not sure, then you can say it's totally normal to feel like this. So I think these are the variety of responses that you can use in any conversation for section B. And the next one is, oui, tu as raison, ça arrive tout le temps. So you can also agree to your friend. You don't have to always disagree. So if your friend says that, you know, most of these agencies, they don't really help you out after you are done with the course and they don't help you out with finding a job, then you can say that that is absolutely true and it happens a lot of times. And then probably you can give your argument that if you go through their reviews, or I know somebody personally who has taken service from this agency, and I assure you that this doesn't happen with this particular agency. Something like that. Next one is, when you have to provide reassurance to your friend that, you know, this is going to be the best thing for you, this is going to be the best service or the best type of activity that you should participate in, then you can use these examples like, mon ami a déjà fait cette formation et il a eu une expérience satisfaisante. So here you are giving an example of your friend who has already taken a service and he was satisfied with it. So this is a very good example to give reassurance or basically to convince the other person to also do the same activity. Next one, je t'assure que c'est une des meilleures agences. So again, to convince your friend. And then the second one, je me suis déjà renseigné sur ça et le responsable me dit que I used this example in this conversation when my friend told me that I don't want to provide guided tour to a big group. And then I said, no, but I have already informed myself or I've already done my research on this. And the manager told me that. So in this case, so in such cases, you can say that don't worry about it. I've already spoken to the manager and he told me that, you don't have to provide these services to a big group. You can also give it to a small group or maybe just couples. It's up to you to decide. So these are some examples which you can use to provide reassurance to your friend about the particular service that you are convincing him or her for. Then the next one is, this is something which I have not used in this conversation, but you can also use this example. Je comprends, mais si tu y penses d'un autre point de vue. So again, this basically means that I understand, but if you think about it from another perspective. C'est exactement ce dont tu as besoin en ce moment. So basically to provide reassurance to your friend that this is the best activity, this is the best thing that you need at this moment because you're not working and after just 5 days of training, you have a high possibility of finding a job also in the field that you really enjoy, which is traveling. So these are some examples to provide reassurance. Next is sometimes it's very difficult to find response to a particular challenge or a question that your friend asked. So in this case, this was my favorite getaway, I would say. And I always used to use this example when I wasn't, whenever I wasn't sure about the answer. So this goes like this: c'est une bonne question, cependant je ne suis pas la meilleure personne pour y répondre car je ne suis pas infaillible or je ne suis pas sûre. Donc je te propose d'en discuter avec le responsable. So this simply means that you are just saying that, it is a very good question, but I'm not the best person to respond to it. So I would suggest that you discuss it with the manager to find the answer. And you have to be very smart about it. So if your friend asks you how much does it cost, and if the cost is not written on the paper on the advertisement, you cannot say this thing, right? I am not sure, and you speak to the manager. You can just make up something. You can just say it costs 100 euros or 200. But this type of response is for something like if your friend asks you, what is their placement rate? Like after getting trained for 5 days, how many students or how many people actually end up getting a job? So in this case, this is a good question, but this is a tricky question, and you may or may not know this answer, right? So you can just say that this is a very good question, but I would suggest that you speak to the manager. Or instead of speak to the manager, you can also say that probably visit their site or speak to my friend who has already taken service from this particular agency. So in this particular case, you can definitely use this example, but otherwise also when you find yourself stuck and you don't know how to respond to a particular question, you can definitely use this. Next is tu peux consulter, visiter l'exit pour avoir plus d'informations. So you can simply visit their website to have more information. The next thing is ways of asking a question. So instead of always saying qu'est-ce que, we should try and use variety of ways of asking questions. So first one is qu'est-ce que tu penses? Then n'est-ce pas? Or c'est bien ça. So these are some examples. You can definitely add more to this list. Then ideas for convincing your friend. So you can say fais-moi confiance, crois-moi, ça vaut le coup, ça vaut la peine, which means it's worth it. Tu vas le regretter si tu ne participes pas. So this is a bit exaggerated, but it's okay because you're talking to a friend. So you can say that you would regret it if you don't participate, right? And one example could be c'est une opportunité idéale pour toi. Donc, tu vas le regretter si tu ne participes pas. So you're just saying that this is a great activity, great opportunity, ideal opportunity for you because you love traveling. And I think you would regret it if you don't participate. Next is pensez-y, réfléchis bien. So if your friend says, I'm going to think about it, but your friend has not made up the mind yet. He has just told you that, okay, let me think about it. Then you can use these examples like think about it, which means pensez-y or réfléchis bien. Then tu ne peux pas manquer cette occasion. This is again a bit exaggerated, but absolutely fine to use it with a friend. You can say you cannot miss this opportunity. Ça ne coûte rien d'essayer, which means it doesn't cost anything to try. Next one is conclusion. So for conclusion, if your friend says that I'm going to participate and I think you have convinced me, something like that, then you can say parfait, je suis sûr que ça te plaira. I'm sure that you will like it. Dis-moi ce que tu décides. So when your friend says that I'm gonna think about it, then you can say that tell me what you decide. So basically, when your friend is convinced and he told you that he or she is going to participate in this activity, then you can say, Je suis contente que tu aies changé d'avis. I'm happy that you have changed your mind or your opinion, your mind actually. And je suis sûre que ça va t'amuser. I'm sure that you will like it. All right, so the next thing is subjunctive. I think subjunctives do help to get some extra points, but I truly believe that if you are very comfortable throughout the conversation and you have used rich vocabulary, you are you have not made a lot of grammatical mistakes, then it doesn't matter whether you use subjunctive or not. You are anyway going to get a higher score. But if you use subjunctive, you may also get a slightly higher score. So here I have collated a couple of examples for you which are applicable in any conversation. So if you really want to use subjunctive, you can use these examples in any conversation, but just don't try to learn them by heart. Instead, try and use them as much as possible when you do a mock test with your friend or with a teacher. So I'm going to give you some examples here, but please be careful and just make sure that you understand them and you use them only when appropriate. So the first one is il y a des places limitées, donc il faut que tu t'inscrives dès que possible. So basically, when you're telling your friend that, okay, I know you are going to think about it, but please remember that there are limited places. So it is important that you register yourself as soon as possible. And only say it when there is actually a deadline written on the advertisement for registration. If there is no deadline, then you should stay away from using this example. But I think in most cases, you would be able to use it. Next one, il vaut mieux que tu parles avec le responsable avant de décider. This is something you can use in any conversation, irrespective of the topic. You can say that it would be better if you speak to the manager before you decide. So if your friend is showing you a lot of, queries or concerns about the services, then you can say that, you should actually speak to the manager first to clarify all your questions before you actually participate in this activity. C'est pourquoi je veux que tu laisses. So when you are telling your friend that you're not working at the moment, you're looking for a job, plus this is a travel related thing which you really enjoy, and this is why I want that you try it. So in this case, you can definitely use it. So yeah, here are some examples, but you can definitely add more to the list. And I would suggest that keep this list in front of you when you're doing mock test so that you remember all of these points. And I'm sure if you practice them enough, you are definitely going to get a higher score of B2 plus or C1. So that's all for today's video. Please go and watch the similar video for section A if you haven't done already. And please let me know your comments if you have found this video helpful, if you have any suggestions, any questions, anything. Let me know and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Till then, please take care, keep practicing, and all the best.